morning, people. It is Friday. Woohoo! Who else is excited? Because I'm freaking excited. I need to go lay down the whole weekend and do nothing. And who said that's going to happen? It's not. It's not going to happen. Not when you're a parent. So speaking of that, I have been speaking to a lot of people who seem to have a problem trying to figure out time for themselves. Especially us mothers, we tend to forget about ourselves. We're so busy worrying about everybody else. Our children are most important to us. And then, we're tired, and then we just don't have the energy. And we have nothing to give to anybody else. So, I struggled with that a lot, especially when you first become a parent. You don't know how to separate, being a parent 24/7 and then finding time for yourself. You tend to feel very bad and guilty for even having time for yourself. You feel like you need to be there for your child 24/7. Which I definitely understand. I mean, every time I tried to leave the house, Kimmery was at the window crying her eyes out. Do you know how bad that makes a parent feel? I literally would cry in the car as I'm driving off, trying to find time for myself. I was still a human being. I still had to find time to do things that made me happy, just to refresh my mind and myself. I don't know. It was such a hard thing to have to deal with. And I just want to let you parents know that it's okay. It's okay to ask someone for help. It's okay to ask, the grandparents to watch them for a little bit. Or any type of support system that you have. Just let them know, hey, I'm feeling empty. I need to go to a spa. I need to go to the movies by myself. I need to go get my hair done, my nails done. I literally had to force myself to go out and do stuff because I found myself very depressed. I would be crying every day. I don't even know why I was crying. I would just cry because I was just sad. I felt as if I had no purpose in life. I didn't know what I was going to do with myself. Not only that, I left, her father in New York and got up and left, and I had nothing. He literally took care of everything financially. And I had to leave with nothing and start my life all over again with the newborn baby. So it was a hard about 3 years. It was hard. I found myself snapping at her for every little thing. I even found myself resenting her a little bit. It was really weird because that's not even my character, and I love my daughter to death. But it was oh, all my friends get to do this and that, and I don't get to get up and just go out, or I have to make plans. And sometimes you make plans and then the person cancels on you. They can't watch a child no more, so then you end up you having a child is a full sacrifice, and it's never fair. And you can't even be upset about it. So me going into this, my manager actually spoke with us about something the other day, and he mentioned a quote that Abraham Lincoln said. He basically said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." I don't know if you guys understand that. I'm gonna read it again. He said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'm gonna spend the 4 hours sharpening the axe." What that means is, instead of spending 6 hours killing yourself trying to chop down a tree, why don't you spend the first 4 hours sharpening it so well That way, when it's time to perform, you don't have to work as hard. It was the same thing with me when I was trying to be a parent, trying to cook for her, trying to raise her, change her diaper, feed her. Also, in the middle of me trying to find a job, me trying to find out what I'm going to do with my career, me going to study because I wanted to continue to try to pass my exam for my registry to be an ultrasound technician. Like, if I would just take care of myself and make sure that I'm sharp in every single way, all of that wouldn't have been so hard. Like, I would have enough to give her and not feel empty. When I started therapy, what they said to me was, imagine like your heart is a basket full of apples or full of whatever fruit, and you give one to your daughter, you give one to your mother, you give one to your brother, you give one to your job, you give one to everyone, and then all of a sudden there's no more apples. So now you're trying to give people things that you no longer have. Like, you no longer have it in you to give. So then you start resenting, and you start feeling like when you're giving, you're taking away from yourself. And that is a bad feeling. Like, you should never have to give people and also feel as if I give them, then I'm gonna give them too much of myself. You should never feel that way, ever. So when you do start to feel that way, that's when you know you need to definitely seek a way to be giving yourself more, whether that's mentally, spiritually, getting into that. I have a paper here from my manager. Like, my manager has like the best. I'm actually reading the book that he got this from. Let me see. So he said, well, the book says, you really don't have time not to sharpen the saw. An excuse to not sharpen the saw is an excuse to failure, burnout, and mediocrity. Did you hear that? Mediocrity. Who wants to be mediocre? Like, if you make an excuse not to do for yourself, you're only setting yourself up for failure, burnout, which most of us are burnt out, and mediocrity. If you want to be your best, these are the things that you have to make sure that you find time for. You have to find time for your sharpening your physical skills, that makes sure your entire body is taken care of, you're exercising, you're eating right, you're getting enough sleep at night. Spiritually. Now, people hear spiritually and they automatically think it's religion. There's so many different spiritualities without religion involved. So whether that mean you just sitting down by yourself thinking, just sitting by yourself meditating, let me see what it says here. Okay, so you figuring out what your purpose is in life. Once you figure out what your purpose is in life, everything else is going to fall into place. Like, it's not going to be as hard anymore. So you really need to find time, just being by yourself, being alone, trying to figure out spiritually, what am I doing with my life? Instead of laying in bed, scrolling on Instagram. You heard that, right? Scrolling on Instagram, social media, it takes away from us. I'm not even gonna lie. If you're wondering why you're always tired, it's because you're on social media. Let me see. So instead of, scrolling through Instagram, or maybe you found out, a family member has cancer. Those are the moments when we have a sense of purpose and values, and those values that we work on come in handy. So definitely, spirituality has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with you having a connection with your soul, with your spirit, And that takes a lot of practice. Like, it took me a while to kind of figure out how not to be so, what's the word, shallow, and feel deeper than just the outside world. Like, you know, like, you just have to figure out what's inside of you and what your purpose here is. You also have to work on your mental health. Definitely, you know, at work, we're mentally drained. We just come home mentally drained. And, you know, you definitely don't want to be surfing the internet, watching TV. Like, you definitely want to do something that relaxes your brain. Whatever it is, exercising, praying, just sitting down, reading a book, whatever it is, just to take your mind off of what you're doing every single day. You definitely want to do that. Let me see. Social and emotional. Okay. This took me a very long time to work on because I was so scared to allow myself to be vulnerable, because I've been so disappointed and hurt in the past that it was definitely hard for me to trust people enough to want to hang out with them. I didn't want to be around negative people or negative vibes, so I wouldn't go out. I mean, I had friends that would always invite me out, and I just didn't want to. I just didn't want to be around people. I was definitely an introvert. I mean, I'm still am for the most part, but I've definitely in the past year have taken the initiative to open myself up more, to be the loving person that I naturally am without being afraid that someone's going to take advantage of it. And if someone does take an advantage of it, I realize like that has nothing to do with me, and I don't get as upset anymore. Like, I don't even let people move me that way anymore because I know it's not me. Like, I'm not going to allow other people that don't know how to appreciate the type of person that I am, which is, you know, very loving, very open, and very giving. I'm not going to allow people to change that about me just because they have an issue that they have to work on. So I was speaking with one of my friends, you know, a couple of days ago, and she didn't know what to do or how to stop feeling empty. You know, and I kind of went over a couple of these things. Like, you need to find time to be happy. You would think that your kids should be the only thing that makes you happy when you have them, which is, you know, we feel that way. Us mothers feel that way because we've carried them for 9 months, and we knew, you know, that happy feeling of having a human, you know, growing inside of you. But at the end of the day, we're still humans. And in order for our children to be okay and happy, we have to be okay and happy. So I did want to talk about this morning, because I know there are a lot of us that are dealing with this. I just want to let you know that it's possible. You definitely just want to be aware. Once you're aware of what's happening to you, or why certain things are happening, or why you're feeling a certain way, then it's easier to work on. Definitely easier to work on, definitely easier to change. So unless you know what's happening, you're never going to be able to, you know, if you don't know what's happening, you're never going to be able to change it. So I hope this helps someone today. I'm still working on my YouTube channel. Yeah, I mean, I know everybody's YouTube channels are with a cute little background and it's all like nice or whatever. However, my life isn't like that. So I'm going to make my YouTube channel as very realistic as possible, which means I'm going to be in a car a lot. I'm always on the go. And then there may be some videos where I'm just, you know, at home chilling. I am going to come up with some topics here and there, go over them, and also go into my life, my storyline, what I've been through. I'm still challenging with it because there are some things that I held on to for so many years. It's going to be very difficult for me to kind of put it out there to the world, because a lot of people don't know, and I've kept it a secret, and I kind of act like it never happened. So in order for me to heal fully, it's something I definitely want to do, but within time. So stay tuned so that you can see everything, you can hear everything. Any questions, definitely let me know, and I'll be happy to discuss with you. All right, I just got to work. Love you guys. Bye.